the opportunity for a Hollywood finish will take the 250.
Phoenix, there they go, down to the bottom, 4 or 5 wide. Let's see if they can all keep it together. But Jacob ARCA.
Remember last year when they ran the Weenie 500, they streamed it on YouTube, on their YouTube channel? They're bringing it to TV this year.
I apologize everyone for that. It turns out my mic was muted and all my audio stuff was muted, so just to go back through that driver standings one more time. Once again, welcome to welcome to Las Vegas Motor Speedway, kicking it off for the third race of the series. Right now we have Garrett Jarnigan in P1, Scott Rolls P2, Rohan James P3, Jacob ARCA P4, and a big tie for 5th right now in the standings. We have about a minute left of the practice session before these drivers go and qualify. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that track info. Like I mentioned earlier, we are racing at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, located in Sin City, Nevada. Opened in 1972, it's a 1.5 mile intermediate track with 20 degrees of banking and 9 to 12 degrees of banking on the front and back stretch. I just mentioned that practice is wrapping up, so you will see an end to the 20-minute practice session here in about 20-ish seconds, and that will be followed by a 5-minute 2-lap qualification attempt. That'll then be followed by a 40-lap race. It's important to know for this race, we are going to have quite a bit of that desert heat beaten down onto the track, and with that being said, it's going to get hot, and it's going to get hot quick. So tire saving will be, I know I say this a lot, but tire saving will be the name of the game. This might be one of the best opportunities on the schedule for these drivers to really show what they got when it comes to tire saving. As that timer hits 0, we will be starting qualification attempts. We'll go ahead and take a look out on track and see who all is going to take their first attempt at it. As it appears, DJ Fluck is rolling off. Ideally, in qualifying, these ARCA cars are a little bit smaller on the horsepower side of things compared to the regular stuff we race on Wednesdays. So what we'll end up seeing is oftentimes a higher line for your first lap, and then cutting down to wrap the bottom for your second lap to try to maximize the most amount of time into your lap. I've talked to several drivers before this race started, and you'll start to see a little bit later in the run something start to develop which isn't necessarily normal for these ARCA cars, which is a loose setup. A lot of times coming out of turn 4, if you just get on the throttle a little too early, especially when the car is so used to handling tight behind another car, that surprise snap of looseness might just cause some chaos going into turn 4. So I'll be curious to see what we can do and what these drivers can do when it comes to handling that sometimes bigger run than they're expecting coming out of turn 4. With that being said, the best way to run this line, as I mentioned earlier, is wrapping that bottom line and then drifting up towards the top of the track coming out of turn 4 or coming out of turn 2. It'll be interesting to see with tire wear if drivers can try to pinch off that exit by running maybe a groove or 2 grooves higher than the guys running that bottom line. But like I said, 40 laps, 1 fuel run here at the desert, so should be hot. Ooh, there's a little wiggle out of DJ Fluck I was mentioning earlier. We might see that. That is probably something we're going to see quite a bit of as drivers start to rattle off in their respective positions. There's Robert Lewis in the 01, also on track. We'll go ahead and throw up the horizontal ticker so you guys can see those lap times and see the difference right now. As everyone is wrapping up their qualifying attempts, we're going to switch it back to the horizontal, to the vertical ticker. You can see there the lap times. Jarnigan just barely getting beat right now, about 4 1,000ths of a second. Should be a good race for everyone watching. We'll take a look around the track to see if anyone else is on track. I don't believe anyone still is. I believe everyone has wrapped up their qualifying attempts. As I cycle through the field, it doesn't appear the number 5 of Lane Snow is going to make a qualifying attempt starting in the back. Somebody's on track. I believe that might have been Eric Richardson. We'll have to go and double check that. It is Eric Richardson, the number 13 car rolling off. We'll go ahead and stay on that while we have you here. We're going to go ahead and pull up just some quick graphics for you all. Don't forget, for Garage Talk, new episode did come out this past Friday. With that, it's important to note, great episode, already tuned in, so it's should be, they normally come out every Friday. Typically my favorite way to watch them is on Spotify. I think I've dropped that a couple times now, but normally my go-to when it comes to watching it. Also important to note is the GT series. Also, just the Sprint series just dropped their event schedule. It returns next week with a 60-minute GT Sprint race starting at 11 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday night. Feel free to join us if you go to frracingonline.com and click the link at the bottom of the page. It'll give you a chance to join the Discord, and we'll get you all hooked up if you want to do some road course racing to get ready for any real-life events coming up. For the rest of the field, it's going to be kind of, or for the rest of our events, it's going to be kind of quiet this week with iRacing's Week 13 dropping tomorrow. We're lucky to sneak this one in, but we're going to have a little bit of downtime, at least for this off week. So our drivers can not only make sure everything still works fine after the update, but also get some extra prep for Mexico City next Wednesday, which brings up our Wednesday night dash schedule. 2 races to go, road course and Michigan International Speedway left to go. As I mentioned earlier, Mexico City, a tougher track, newer track, and so it'll be a lot of fun to see what drivers can get that figured out. Also next week, we have return to, I believe we're going to Dover. So yes, Dover. It should be a super, super fun race. Looking forward to and seeing what those IndyCar guys can do, and if Matt Faust can have a heck of a rebound in the points battle, just because he missed last week and had an unfortunate wreck in the first week at Phoenix. So it'll be curious to see how that all rolls out. As we roll off the field, we'll start to go ahead and get a look at pole with Robert Lewis. Rolling off 01 and P1.
All right, gentlemen, it is hot and quick. Good luck.
Let's see if we can talk to Robert Lewis in the 01. Robert Lewis, this is John Miles up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, rolling off P1 in the 01. How you feeling for this super hot and slick track tonight?
Feeling pretty good. Hopefully I don't get caught up in some mess and I can just run my 40 laps. Feel pretty confident if that's the case.
With the track temp being a little bit hotter as the race should go on, do you expect it to get a little bit looser, a little bit tighter? What's the plan here?
It so far it seems to really get loose coming out of 4. So yeah, that is a problem area as the run goes on. By about 10 to 15 laps, it's pretty loose out of 4. So you kind of have to watch your throttle on that exit.
Sounds good. Well, I'm going to send you back to your boys over on your team. Let's see this restart. Good luck out there.
All right.
That was Robert Lewis in the 01 as the pace lights are off on the Ford Mustang leading us to green. Should have a good one for you guys. Important to note that DJ Fluck in the number 88 starting P10 but showed a lot of speed in practice. We'll have to see how well he can move his way up without burning up those tires. Start to enter turn 4. Pace light staying off. Just like Robert Lewis said, we got to keep those tires underneath us and keep them from wearing too heavily. As the pace car rolls off. And
green flag
is out. Robert Lewis stays side by side with Garrett Jarnigan. He does clear him going into 1. We'll have to see if that slide job does come up a little bit. As it does, cleared him for the lead. A couple cars down low, but for the most part we stay kind of single file as we start to spread out there. Too wide, a little bit farther up. JP Jones just shoved up the track a little bit by his teammate Garrett Jarnigan. 3 wide behind us between the 1, the 2, and the 21. If you're Robert Lewis in the 01, you are loving what you're seeing right now as you've already stretched the gap to 0.2 of a second. But Garrett Jarnigan is not going anywhere. Big move by the number 2, Jacob Barker. Jacob Barker coming off an incredible run, both in IndyCar winning last week and also getting 2nd place on Wednesday. Have to see if he can carry that momentum into this week as he's side by side with the number 32. Huge run, huge momentum shift. Still side by side. Now with the 21 as the 1 looks underneath the 19. Harrison Santos trying to make it work. It looks like the 19 of Connor Fuge is going to pull ahead by just a little bit. As we go back towards the front, JP Jones still side by side with the number 2 of Jacob Barker. Robert Lewis right on. He has his back bumper pretty full right now with Garrett Jarnigan, but still side by side. We go a little bit farther back. 24 of Jax Milne actually making a pass for 6, still side by side. Teammate in the 5 right behind him. It looks like he might get shuffled a little bit here as the 1 makes a big move down low. Now side by side with the 19. Big check up there as the 19 gets loose. Almost collects the field, but does a good job of getting out of the gas and not getting anyone in trouble. Unfortunately, it did check up a lot of the field with a 5, you can see there, and a 25. Had to check up quite a bit. We're going to have a lot of work to do with no cautions to get back towards the front. As we head back towards the front, still pretty single file. These 6 cars have broken out from the rest of the field because of that incident by the 19. Luckily, it doesn't look like any cars were too damaged. And we could just lap 5 into the race. Still pushing pretty hard cars. The 21 takes a peek inside. You can see he's sideways just a little bit there. Has to get out of the gas to make sure he doesn't self-spin. But that allows the number 2 of Jacob Barker to slide up on the top side. See if he can get this pass cleared. That's 21. Ooh, a little bit of net code there. So 21 still sideways. 24 makes a big shot to the outside, avoiding any carnage. Unfortunately, it looks like big wreck there by the number 1. Let's take a replay at that as we go into the corner. I believe it was net code. Yeah, it looks like net code with the 21. That slid the 2 up the track. 2 comes down. 1 goes up. I think that was just a lot of net code. As he's rolling around to pit road. The 01 of Robert Lewis and Garrett Jarnigan in the 32 have kind of checked out after that big incident. Big winner in that is the number 24 of Jax Malin, as he has cycled to P3 in this whole mess. So right now he is 1.5 seconds back. It's his job right now just to save some tires and see if they can't come back to when they start racing a little bit harder. I don't see too much damage. I can imagine the 21 of JP Jones, who's a little bit farther back, does have some damage, but he took a pretty big shot. But right now, with no cautions, the best chance really is just to stay out and just salvage what points you can at this point. It did appear that turn 4 was the big problem in that wreck that caused the big pile up. As we stay on the 01, the 32 does appear to be falling back just a little, still maintaining about that 0.2 of a second gap. It's important to note I've raced with Garrett Jarnigan, and he is one of the best, especially in this series, at tire saving. He almost sneaked up and stole one from me back at Bristol, and he was one of the ones to beat whenever we raced together last year at Phoenix, or last season at Phoenix. So if there's anyone that can tire save on a hot slick track, watch that number 32 car as he continues to just keep the number 1, the 01, super busy in his rearview mirror. A little bit farther back it does appear the 24 starting to fall back just a little bit, lost about 0.5 the last 2 or so laps. Coming up on lap 12 of this 40 lapper. A little bit farther back, looks like the 19 right now doesn't appear to have too much damage, but looks can be deceiving. Could be quite a handful in that car right now. We just have no way of knowing, as we do see smoke on the track. Not sure what that was from. Doesn't appear anyone's falling back too heavy, as Eric Richardson is in the pits. Might have missed something. We'll go ahead and hit the replay button and see if we can't find something. No, that was about 60-second replay, so he must have just caught up. I apologize for missing that. He must have got caught up in that big wreck out of turn 3 going into turn 4. As Robert Lewis is about to start dealing with something he probably didn't think he had to deal with until later in the run, but we do have lap traffic up ahead. We'll have to see how that lap traffic holds up and if they clear out of the way. That is either the 2 or the number 1. I haven't swung the camera angle quite in the position where I can tell quite yet. It does appear to be the number 1. Or does appear to be the number 87 of John Jarvis. Showing 17 on the side of his car, but our pylon's got him listed as number 87. The last one on the lead lap, but you can tell that car does have quite a bit of damage. He's quite a bit off the pace right now. We'll have to see how the 01 deals with lap traffic. As right now, Jax Malin, you can kind of see him a little bit back there in the 24. He continues to fall back, falling to about 2.5 seconds. Losing about half a second every 2 to 3 laps. We'll have to see if he's tire saving or maybe there's some damage that we're not quite aware of. As there's a pass for the lead. Jarnigan makes a pass on Lewis. Let's go ahead and take a replay and see what I could have missed. There's the 0-1. Right there, and it looks like just a disconnect. Unfortunately, it does appear just to have a disconnect there. If you're Robert Lewis, you are gutted to see that after having a strong performance. As he does appear to be back now. Okay, he has reconnected back into the lead. If you're Jarnigan, you're probably a little concerned there as he keeps blinking right in front of you. You'll have to hope his internet connection does stay stable. A couple months ago when iRacing released this past season's update, I guess it'd be 13 weeks ago, they did release the update, which meant if you were a little too spotty of an internet connection, iRacing holds the right to kick you from the service. So you see that the 0-1's internet can get a little bit better. Otherwise, unfortunately, his night might come to an end. If it doesn't come to an end right now, as the 0-1 has to get around lap traffic, John Jarvis does let them go by cleanly. That's one lap traffic car down. Probably 7 more goes. We did have that earlier incident. We'll probably have some crossover a little bit sooner than expected for these drivers. Big block there, the 87 on JP Jones, who is 3 laps down, as number 2 of Jacob ARCA is pitting once again. If I had to guess, after being in one of those earlier incidents, he's just going to try to get some damage taken care of so the car at least drives, and then go back out there and try to scavenge what points he can. With there being no cautions in this race, you just got to take what you can get. Although it can be frustrating to crash out early, the best thing you can do is try to make it back to pit road, get your fast repair, and get back on track as soon as you can in case somebody else has an incident. As we go a little bit farther back, the 24 is falling off a decent amount, falling off now to 3 seconds, continuing to fall. You have to wonder if he's saving anything, or, like I said, if he has just more damage than we thought he did. Looks like the 5 is going for a ride. Not quite sure what's going on there. Let's go ahead and take a look, see what we missed. Does he get loose? Not quite sure. Oh well. Just doing a little bit off-roading for fun, I suppose. Back towards the front. Still a tight battle as a 21 of JP Jones with those fresher tires and a brand new race car who does get around the 01 and the 32. Right now only 7 cars remain on the lead lap. Take a look back and see if there's any other big battles going on. I think right now the closest one is between Connor Fuge and DJ Flood. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. There's the 19 with the 88 right on his tail. Gap separates them by about half a second right now. If you didn't catch the, I guess it'd be 2 episodes ago on Garage Talk, go ahead and give it a listen, but as a little sneak peek, DJ Flux been getting some racing legends from another DJ, DJ Yee, content creator that does NASCAR content and especially focuses on Gen 4 cars and these ARCA cars, which we'll have to see if that, he kind of specializes, the content creator that is DJ Yee, kind of specializes in long-term tire saving, so we'll have to see if DJ Flood can pull off another stint like he did last week at Phoenix, or 2 weeks ago at Phoenix, where he drove back towards the front of the field late in the run. Back towards the front, we've shrunk the gap to 1/10 of a second. still pretty close battle. They mentioned earlier how turn 4 is loose, but the rest of this track, just by the way these cars drive, typically drive a little bit on the tighter side, so it's important not to burn that right front or right rear too heavy. But when you're behind another car like this, it makes that car drive pretty tight, and then it snaps loose on you when you get that clean air. So right now it looks like the 32 is searching around just a little bit. You can see maybe he's a half car length up. He got a little loose there. Ooh, another big wiggle. Kind of killed his lap right there, but you can see when he started that lap, he was about half a lane a little bit higher than the 01, just trying to get some clean air on the nose of that car to help it rotate and complete the pass. It's the number 1 car, which is several laps down. Harrison Santos does go by both of them. Kind of killed Jarnigan's lap though. Just an unfortunate spot to be. We'll see if he can't rally to get back towards Robert Lewis in the 01. He is not with us tonight, but last week's winner, Scott Rolls, that was his second win, and now he has got a 5-way tie for all-time wins. This just being the second season of the Bottom Split Racing Series, but 5-way tie with all-time wins with 2 wins, which ties Lane Snow, our guy in second place, Garrett Jarnigan, Chris Fuge, and then Shameless Plug myself. We are the other 4 two-time race winners. Unfortunately did not make it tonight, but Garrett Jarnigan does have a chance. I guess Lane Snow does as well, even though he's 23 seconds back. Jax Mellon, or Garrett Jarnigan right now is really the only one with a chance to break that record with 3 all-time wins. He has shrunk that gap from half a second down to 4/10, now down to 3/10. Makes you wonder if he saved a little bit more tires. We come with 10 to go next time by. Still maintaining about 3 to 4/10 of a gap. A little bit farther back, we do have a battle between DJ Fluck and Connor Fuge. We'll go ahead and take a look at that. I hate to take you all away from the leaders, but these two have been racing pretty close to each other. If you are the 88, you got to be a little careful on throttle. Don't want to spike the throttle too hard coming out of 4 to try to build that run and end up getting yourself in trouble. As a 25 there continues to roll around. Rohan James back towards the front. We're going to go ahead and take another look. Sorry to Connor and DJ, but we have shrunk the gap to a little bit closer, as Jarnigan has shrunk it to about 3/10 to 2/10, depending on where they are in the track. Let's go ahead and take a look at the in-car camera and see what Garrett Jarnigan sees ahead of him. Working that wheel, as you can see, he's starting to climb out of it. Seems to be getting to the throttle a little bit quicker, so that builds up that run in the front and back stretch. See how much brake he's using as he goes into the corner. A little bit kind of deep off in there, but you can see that I'm talking about starts turn 1 a little bit half a lane higher, which helps him get that car to rotate, which you can see is generating these runs in the back and front stretches. We'll see him try to do it again here. Didn't do it quite that much time, but Robert Lewis to be a little high there. Back in the throttle. Ooh, a little loose there. Nothing too concerning, but was just a tiny bit loose. As we come up on lap 34 of 40. Dominating performance so far out of the 01, but like I mentioned earlier, if anyone's going to beat him on a long run, it's going to be Garrett Jarnigan. He's playing his cards right now. As Jax Mellon continues, unfortunately, to fall farther and farther back. Right now, I think he's just trying to hold on. Just trying to hold on to P3. as Rohan James in the 25 starts to wear down that gap just a little bit. See when the camera pans, we can't see him. There's 25. 25 is going to be a little busy with the 19 and the 18, all kind of right there as we go to that. Side by side right now. Unfortunately, we'll have to miss this as we cut back to the lead, as the 5 is rolling off pit road there. I'm sorry we're missing that big battle right now between the 5, between the 19, the 88, and 21. The 25, the 88, and the 19, I'm sorry. We'll go ahead and switch. There's a pass for the lead. We'll go ahead and switch. Still side by side. As it looks like the 24 now has his hands full, as there's a move made to the inside. But we gotta keep our eyes on these leaders. Whole lot going on all over the track. We got these two battling it out, and then the rest of the field is right there, as it looks like Jax Malin has fallen to the back of this pack. Unfortunately, a solid run to start the day, but you have to wonder if there's damage after that incident that Netcode might have put them. As the rest of the cars try to get figured out for this last position. 4 laps to go. We're going to stay on the leaders to see if we can't get something interesting with these 3 laps to go. Robert Lewis gets a little sideways there, which helps the 32 generate that run. We'll see if we see a move going in the corner. Still on his bumper. You can tell there's a little bit of lift going to that corner to try to build this run coming out of turn 4. Not quite enough that time. 2 laps to go. As the 32 stays just a half lane higher. Tries to diamond it of sorts. He's going to have a run on the back bumper. We'll see if he sends it side by side going to the corner. Not this time, as he stays in line with the 01. A little bit better drive off that time coming out of turn 4 for the 32. White flag out this time by there's the run, side by side, going to the corner, forces him way low on the track. 01 goes high, 32 down low, side by side. The 01 gets a little sideways. We're going to have a drag to the finish. 32 still there, still side by side. 01 beats him at the line. What a battle. Ooh, that was close. Just an absolute battle to get there. Let's take a look one more time at the finish of that race. As the cars, there they come to the start-finish line. You can see it does appear the 01 got it done at the line. Incredible battle, though, between those cars as we get back to the 01 for a little bit of a burnout. Ooh, as he gets smoked by the 1. Probably congratulatory little bump. Let's hope he still has an engine left to burn it down for all you all. Beautiful burnout for the 01. Let's take a look at the results. Robert Lewis taking it home in P1 in the 01, start to finish, belt to butt, as I think that's how the saying goes. And rolling off second was Garrett Jarnigan. DJ Fluck rounds out your top 3. What an incredible drive from him, drive from the back of the field to the front. Connor Fuge in 4th, Jax Malin in 5th, Rohan James 6th, JP Jones 7th, Barker 8th, John Jarvis 9th, and Eric Richardson wraps up your top 10. Let's go ahead and head to the interviews, as we have some teammates burning it down for each other with the 01 and the number 2. Great to see those teammates, 32, getting a little piece of the action as well. This league was meant for drivers to develop and hone their craft, hone their skill, and it's just so rewarding to see all these guys get better, start driving better. and also can celebrate each other's victories. We're going to go over to P3. DJ, if you're there.
I am. Good evening.
Good evening. An incredible run. I was hyping you up a little. At the very start of the race, I made sure that your extra training got a shout out, but when I noticed in the race you're running maybe 7th to 8th around there, I made sure the broadcast knew to keep an eye out, because dang, you got some long run speed in these ARCA cars. Tell me how you did it to end up on the podium.
Well, I botched my qualifying run. I was lap 2, was coming around, was looking good. I got loose out of 4 and had to start towards the back, and I managed to survive that first kind of big incident, which set a little bit of space between the lead pack and myself. But about midway through, I had kind of a bad exit out of 4. And popped the wall decently hard. It was enough for a 2X on me, and so I'm trying to nurse wheel damage and chase down the field for the last 25 laps or so, and just things worked out. I kept it going, chased the group down, had a little bit of luck there at the end with Rohan and Connor, whatever happened to both of them coming out of 4, and here we go.
An excellent drive nonetheless. You got to give yourself a pat on the back. Is there anyone you'd like to thank before we kick it off to the top 2?
Yeah, I wanted to thank, we brought in Apex Sim Racing as a new partner the other week, and glad to be on board with them, promoting the fine products they have, not just Sim Magic and Extreme Sim Racing, but Moza and many others just like it. And again, Eric didn't have a very good night, got caught up, but Eric and I have been working together quite a bit lately, trying to get better, and just unfortunately didn't work out for him tonight, but he's supportive as always, so thank you for that.
It's good to have teammates, and it's especially tough when you got to race those teammates pretty tough. So with that being said, we're going to take it over to our second place driver, Garrett Jarnigan. I believe you will still have the points lead after tonight, but one of the best laps, one of the best last laps probably in the history of this series. Congratulations on the second place. I'm sure you wanted one better, but what could you have maybe done a little bit different to end up one better?
Well, qualified well ahead of the wreck is always nice, especially in this league. Once that wreck kind of happened behind and we had a gap, me and Braden just kind of agreed. It was slick and forward, like, let's just run smooth till the end and we'll fight the last lap. That's what we did. Tried to push him up into the dirt, but he found some grip up there and came across the line again. It was a good night.
Was a good night overall. Whole lot of fun for me up here in the broadcast booth. Is there anyone you'd like to thank before we kick it off to the winner?
Yeah, just shout out to the SMR boys, Team FR for having us out, and the broadcast.
And with that being said, we're going to kick it off to the 01 of Braden Lewis. Sorry, I keep messing up your name. But the 01 started in P1, finished P1, led every single lap. An absolute belt to butt. We're keeping it PG, but an absolute belt to butt for this race. Tell me how you got it done.
Well, like I said, when you pulled me in earlier, I just did hope I wasn't caught up in a wreck. I could run my laps, and that's what ended up happening. So it did get pretty loose, but I was able to hold on to it. I got pretty close spinning coming out of 4 a couple times. But
talk me through that last lap. You see that Garrett Jarnigan has that run coming out of turn 2. You drive him down pretty much to the yellow line to try to kill as much of a run as you can. You guys enter side by side, going to the corner, and then talk to me about that drive into 3 and 4, how you got it done.
I don't know how I held on to it. Honestly, I put the gas down and it went sideways on me. I thought I was going to spin, and I got it straightened back up, and it stuck. So I did think he was going to side draft me back and end up winning, but somehow I didn't. I was able to stay ahead. So.
Talk to me about the challenges when it comes to racing a teammate like that. I know it might be a little bit easier to maybe give an opponent the nudge or the bump on the side or on the back bumper, but when you're racing a teammate like that, does it affect you mentally on how you handle that sort of situation?
Well, like I said, not really. I mean, we talked about it beforehand, and we agreed to just run our laps until the last lap, and we would race each other then, so that's what we ended up doing. And I'm just glad we didn't wreck each other. I'm glad I didn't wreck him or he didn't wreck me. So.
And it meant that you guys absolutely had a great performance for your team. Is there anyone you'd like to thank before we wrap up this race?
yeah, I'd like to thank all the boys over at SMR and yeah, the broadcast and FR for having us out.
And that was your winner, Braden Lewis, in the 01 from lap 1 to the last one. Led them all. Congratulations to the 01 and the boys at SMR. Don't forget, we are taking a little bit of a break. We will have a races starting back up next week after week 13 concludes. This has been John Miles in the Bottom Split Racing Series. You all have a good rest of your Monday night.